In an absolutely shocking turn of events, Fortnite Competitive themselves have just surprised all of us today when they basically tweeted out that Acorn and Peterbot's trio need to make a decision within the next 2 weeks or they will not be able to make money in FNCS Grand Finals. And this basically led to Acorn announcing that they are officially both just going back to their old trios now. But this is going to have so many repercussions on things like who is going to be landing at what drop spots, is Clix qualified for LAN now, and so much more. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we're trying to update you guys with all the competitive news as soon as we possibly can. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. Follow the Twitch, linked in the description down below, because I am going to be watching the Trio Cash Cup Finals on Saturday, and you already know there's going to be so much drama there. It's going to be the last dance for the trio of Peterbot, Pollo, and Cold, and we're most likely going to watch them put on an absolute masterclass. Without further ado though, let's talk about the absolutely insane news that we saw today. All right, so let's start off by just reading the tweet out, and then I'll explain it to you guys if you're a little bit confused. So pretty much Fortnite Competitive tweeted out at 11:30 a.m. for me when I was literally in class, and they just said FNCS 2025 rules update. If a player qualifies for the Fortnite Global Championship, they are locked into their team unless all 3 members unanimously disband before the deadline. If they do, the next inline team will take their Global Championship spot. For clarity, and this is where the new rule comes in, players must disband with their team before joining a new one to remain eligible for prizing or qualification in future FNCS majors. The primary deadline to disband before Major 2 is April 5th at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So if you guys are a little confused on what this means, Fortnite is basically just saying that Peterbot and Acorn's trio can't really do what they were just originally planning on doing, which if you don't know what that was, basically Peterbot said he's just going to play with Pollo and Cold for the rest of the season's out, and then once globals actually comes around, then he will just go back to playing with Ritual if nobody decides to sign the disband forms. And pretty much Acorn's trio agreed with that, and that was just the plan that they were going to go with. But basically Fortnite Competitive is stepping in here and saying no, if you guys are going to do that, you will not be eligible to make money in FNCS Grand Finals. This is actually a rules update that they did. This is not like a rule that was already set in stone before. Fortnite literally changed the rules just for this specific situation right here, because that was how big this was. I think a lot of people thought that so much drama was going to come out of this Fortnite Competitive tweet, but all we really got was Acorn tweeting out, now that our trios are back, can we get to play this Divisional Cup Finals with our actual team? And then he added Fortnite Competitive, and that is kind of insane that Fortnite Competitive literally changed this rule after these teams have already played 2 separate full Cash Cup Finals and now even day 1 of Open, so they won't even get the extra practice with their original trios. But if you need even more clarity beyond that, yes, that does officially mean that Peterbot is now back with Cold and Ritual, and Acorn is going to be playing with his FNCS winning team of Pollo and Agers. Starting off with what my opinions on this are, is I think this is better from a viewership perspective. I think Peterbot, Pollo, and Cold honestly would have just ran away with this FNCS. We saw it with the elim numbers these guys were able to get. They literally did just look like far and away the best team, and no one was really even close to them if we're just being honest. But now we know that we already have a trio that has proved they can beat them before, and we also have some other teams rising up the rankings on NA as well. I don't want to necessarily say this like fully nerfs Peterbot or anything, because we can't act like Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual didn't literally win every single Cash Cup as well last season. Like, for how insane of a start that Peterbot is already having to this season, he was doing the exact same things last season as well. They just weren't able to cap it off in Grand Finals. For how I think Cash Cups are actually going to go, I think Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual are still probably just going to win every single Cash Cup for the rest of the season. But going into Grand Finals now, we are actually going to probably have some real debates on who is actually going to win Grand Finals, since we literally just saw Acorn take down Peterbot last season. We saw Clix tweet out that he qualified for LAN, and I think he was just really assuming that they were going to sign the disband forms. So if you want a little bit of clarification on what is going on with Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs, no, they are still not going to be qualified for LAN now. The only way that they would have been able to qualify for LAN is if all members on the 2 LAN qualified teams decided to sign the disband forms, and it was just very clear that Acorn or Ritual were just not going to sign the forms, which I mean, you can't really blame them at the end of the day. You don't just want to let Peterbot do whatever he wants to the region, continuing to just control it forever. And this is honestly the first time we've really ever seen somebody actually step up to Peterbot and it worked out for them. For how I would currently rank the top 3 teams on NA right now, I would probably say like Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, and Acorn, Pollo, Trio and Agers are like 1A and 1B, and then Clix goes into that like 3 spot now. I think it is still too early to say Clix's trio is better than any of those teams that literally just placed first and second place in last grand finals. But next week's Cash Cups are going to be absolute cinema. I am so excited to see how these team changes actually go for both of these trios. But we still have a full NA Cash Cup finals this week, so let's actually talk about who all was able to qualify for it. Man, it really is kind of hitting me now that we might legit not see Peterbot and Pollo play together again until 2026 now. Let's talk about the trios that are going to be in the finals this Saturday though. Like first place, finishing with 892 points, the trio of Vidil, Cooper, and Sphinx. These guys were able to win 2 out of their 16 games and finish with 203 elims. If you guys watched my video from yesterday, then you guys will know a lot of the trios stop literally like halfway through the tournament so that they can go and try to qualify on West as well. So I wouldn't really take this leaderboard too serious. Just focus up on the teams that were able to qualify. Like second place of Oliver OG, Dash, and Blake. This is another brand new trio. They finished with 857 points and won 3 out of their 19 matches as well. Third place is Kanata, G Money, and Osid on 804. Fourth is another brand new trio of Booga, Threats, and Craze. I talked about this a lot, but if you guys still don't know, yes, Craze has officially dropped Bucky and Okus to now play with Booga and Threats, and I am very excited to see how these guys are going to actually go in the finals. Fifth place is another brand new trio of Mason, Golden, and Ozone on 761. Sixth is Taki, Eshu, and Vert. Seventh is Fishy. Eighth is the trio that got back together of Rapid, Yapko, and Bolts. Ninth is Muzz, Curly, and Rise. And then rounding out the top 10 with only 10 matches played was the trio of Peterbot, Cold, and Pollo. Now, I mean, you guys can look at their match history if you want because it is pretty disgusting to look at. I'm not even going to read over it. We know how crazy Peterbot is. Some other big names that were able to qualify is like 11th place of Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs on 693. Their last tournament together of Ager's Ritual and Acorn finished in 12th on 690. Shadow, Curve, and Tyler in 14th. Reet, Bryce, and Tony in 17th, the brand new trio. Noah W plays in 19th. Joji in 23rd. The EU trio that qualifies for every NA finals of Setiar and Cammy in 25th. And that was basically all of them. We only had a couple of big names not be able to make it, like the West FNCS winners of Baka, Parson, Pump in 38th place. 20 Edgy and Chance finished in 39th. And then I guess the last one is like the other brand new trio of Bucky, Okus, and Krillian. They finished in 149th place, only getting 245 points in 20 total matches. I would highly doubt that this trio is going to stick together. Just want to send some prayers and well wishes out there to Bucky though, because I know he is currently going through a lot, and I do just wish him the best in the future. All right, let's take a look at what the current map on NA looks like, and obviously things are subject to change. This is just the first look at the map. We do have some big off spawn fights. The most notable one has to be Cooper, Vidil, and Sphinx versus Booga, Threats, and Craze. I think we only got to see them fight one time in the opens, and I think Booga's trio won that, but I cannot 100% confirm if that is true or not. And then we also have like Reet, Bryce, and Tony versus Nut, Fredbot, and Aaron, and those are most of the main big off spawn fights. So let's get on to my actual top 5 predictions now. Starting off with in 5th place, I am going to go with the trio of Kanata, G Money, and Osid. Now they were a little bit disappointing last week, finishing in I'm pretty sure 10th place, but they were also contested for that tournament as well. So now I am kind of just hoping, since they are completely uncontested, that they'll be able to pull off the top 5, and I have them in exactly 5th. I think if this trio is not able to pull off the top 5, then they probably do have a pretty high chance of splitting up. 4th place, I'm gonna go with the team that kind of surprised a lot of people last week when they placed 4th place in it, the trio of Shadow, Curve, and Tyler. I had them as my most underrated team in the world last season, and I'm gonna put some faith in them, and hopefully they're able to stay uncontested and pull off back-to-back top 5s now. Going into the top 3 is just the current 3 best teams on the region. In 3rd place, I'm gonna go with the trio of Acorn, Agers, and Ritual. I know that they got 5th place after their first week of being uncontested in finals together, which was pretty disappointing to a lot of people, including myself, but I do think that they'll be able to bounce back and pull off a pretty easy top 3 here. And then 2 and 1, you guys can probably predict it, but my 2nd place team is going to go with a trio that I am going to predict to get 3 straight 2nd places to start off the season of Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs. I just don't think that they have the fighting power and the fragging ability of obviously the 1st place trio of Peterbot, Pollo, and Cold. They are also going to be playing in their last ever tournament together most likely, so you already know they are going to be full tryharding, trying to get the max amount of points as possible. Let me know your guys' own top 5 in the comment section down below, and let's actually move on to how EU went now. Now in EU, it is a little bit hard to talk about the whole tournament still, as we just saw some of the craziest drama on NA, but we still have to go over and make our predictions as well. So starting off with, in first place was the trio of Pix, Darm, and Demus. These guys always seem to do super well in the opens. I'm really just hoping that their finals placement this week can really correlate to that. They were able to finish with 841 points, win 3 out of their 17 matches as well, so they did look super good all around, and they finished with the 4th most elims in the entire tournament with 167. Second place is an underrated trio of Cringe and Volko on 769. Third is Vania, Pixie, and Marius on 760. Fourth is Frisk, Tayson, and Chicho on 760 as well. Fifth place is actually the Phil trio of Swizzy, Queasy, and Focus, and I have to say this every single video. No, Queasy and Swizzy did not drop Merstash for Focus. Basically, Merstash was just not able to play this week, so they had to get a Phil player, and they ended up deciding to play with Focus just for this week, and then Merstash should be back next week. If they still end up somehow winning the Cash Cup with Focus, then we might just have to crown Queasy the grand finals champion for this season already. Sixth place is Robin, Cheatin, and Trexter on 738. Seventh is CZB. Eighth is iDrop, Sky, and Scroll. Ninth is Gordetti, and then rounding out the top 10 is Vico, Vino, and Flixie on 707 points, and finishing the tournament with the second most elims, getting 177. If you guys are wondering who finished with the most elims, it was iDrop, Sky, and Scroll with 192. Remember though, we are still looking for those top 33 trios that were able to make it into finals, and some teams I am very excited to see their performance in finals is like 12th place of Chap, Shark, and Kidduo. They finished with 693 points, were able to win 3 out of their 20 games, and it is currently looking like they have the potential to get an uncontested Crime City. I have been waiting for this trio to finally play in uncontested finals all season long, and if they're able to arguably get the best drop spot on the entire map uncontested, that would just be so huge. 13th place was Pengwax and Malibuka on 687. Cammy, Seti, and Hari finished in 18th. Yanis, Noah, Riley, and Rezon in 24th. Teeny's trio was able to clutch up the qual, finishing in 27th place after being in like 60th place after day 1. And then rounding out the top 33 was Bimbo's trio. We only had a couple of notable trios not be able to make it into finals, like 45th place of Pink, Nebs, and Kiro. They finished with 535 points, so they were still about 70 points off of qual. And then for back-to-back weeks now, finishing in exactly 80th place was the trio of Mongrel, Prism, and Casper. These guys finished with 454 points. They were not able to win a single game and only finished with 76 total elims. They played pretty similar on day 2 to how they played on day 1. This team has like very slowly been getting better over time, but they kind of are still just the exact same team that they always have been. Whenever they make it into endgame, they seem to always die around that like 10th through 15th range. The most kills that they got in a single game throughout the whole entire tournament over the past 2 days was only 10 elims. So these guys aren't necessarily able to really frag out, and the only way that you're going to be able to be a successful trio with that is if you're consistently placing super well. And throughout the whole entire 20 games that they played, they only had 3 games inside of the top 5. I still do think the vibes and everything are super well in this trio. They seem to be having so much fun playing together. I think they really do just need to work so much more with their coach. I know they've said they've been working with the coach, but I mean, if you are still just having basically the exact same placements, then you need to be changing something up when you're working with your coach. I do still believe that this is a trio that could end up working out. They just have a lot of small kinks that they need to fix up. Now, unfortunately, at the time I am recording this video, the EU drop map has not officially come out yet, but I think all 5 of these teams are hopefully going to be uncontested. So starting off with my 5th place spot, you guys can let me know in the comment section down below if this is actually disrespectful or not, but it is 2 out of the 3 players that have won both of the Cash Cup finals this season of Queasy, Swizzy, and Focus. Now, if Queasy is still able to pull off a top 3 with Focus filling in for one of the best players in the entire world, then maybe we can start asking the question on, is this the best trio in the entire world? But I do still think they will be able to pull off a top 5, and I have them in exactly 5th place. My top 4 is what I just think are the 4 best trios in this lobby. 4th place, I'm gonna go with Cammy, Seti, and Hari. As long as they are uncontested, they have consistently been a top 5 trio week after week. And then into the top 3, starting off with in 3rd place is the LAN qualified trio of Ping, Walks, and Malibuka. Now, I could have just been boring and put them in 2nd place, but I feel like everybody's predictions for these guys this week is gonna be be them in second and then Vino in first. So I wanted to switch some things up, and I also really do believe in the trio that I have in second place of Vanya, Pixie, and Marius. They have been able to absolutely keep up with fragging, and they have literally been in the lead after like game 3 multiple times in cash cups as well. I think this is finally the week that they pull off a second place. And then for my first place pick, if anybody besides Vico, Vino, and Flixie win on EU, then that would be a major letdown for this trio. Literally their biggest competition is at a handicap right now. If you are not able to win the cash cup finals, considering they will hopefully be uncontested, then there really is just no excuses for this trio. I think an honorable mention could 100% be Chap, Shark, and Kidduo if they're uncon at Crime City, which is looking like they might be. And then definitely iDrop, Sky, and Scroll, because I think they are getting Shining Spans uncontested as well. But I just really haven't seen enough from either of those trios yet this season to want to put them in my top 5 yet. Other than that though, what a day for Fortnite competitive. I did not wake up and expect any of this to happen, but so much entertaining news took place nevertheless. Remember, follow my Twitch, link in the description down below if you guys want to watch the trio cash cup finals with me on Saturday. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we are so close to 105,000 subscribers. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. I'm not one of these like millionaire creators or anything, so if you want to support someone a little bit smaller, I would really appreciate it if you could use code KDOG. YouTube says enjoy one of these 2 videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Also check out my React channel, link in the description down below as well. Follow me on my Twitter at KDOG to keep up to date with everything to do with Fortnite competitive. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.